Good evening and welcome to the Highgate Selectboard meeting for July 29th. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming. Do we have anyone for public comments that are not on the agenda? Okay. Sue, it's unlike you.
I know.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Don't worry, you will know.
All right. So, first item on the agenda is to select a vice chair. Bruce Butler has left us. He has moved from town into another state, so that leaves us with a vacancy. So, who would like to be vice chair?
Bad reception on my end.
Let me repeat that, Kyle. Would you like to be vice chair?
Okay, I nominate Kyle.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations! You are the new vice chair. That's what you get for not being here.
See there?
Is he still there?
He's there.
Play it down.
Okay. Next, airport infrastructure project update.
And I have to, well, there's a mailing we're proposing to go out. And there is a draft there that needs a fair amount of revision. But I'd like to get your approval to do that tonight because we'd have to jump on it quite quickly. So in addition to what's on there, I was proposing to chop some of the information from the part where it would be addressed and maybe just have those 3 headers and how we pay for it, but to put in the date of the vote. Well, we have that on the front. That everyone will get a ballot, and we'll put in the Zoom information for the meeting on September 7th, and any other details that need to be squeezed in there.
So and this has been brought up by a few people, but can we make sure that people understand, although these numbers are in big letters, this $3,500,000, we are not asking the taxpayers for that. That we are only asking them to approve up to the dollar amount we'll decide tonight.
Yep.
So it's,
Yeah.
the paper made it sound like we're asking people for $3.5 million, and we are not. We are not even asking you for $1 million. We are asking you up to an amount, at which point the select board will or will not go forward with the project depending on funding. But we need to have a yes vote in order to apply for the other grants that are pending, which you had on the back of your flyer here.
Would you rather move that piece up to the front? Take the wording that's on the front out, put the how will we pay for it, and then we can put your not to exceed amount there?
Yes,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would.
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
People need to see, because
Yeah.
the first thing they're gonna ask you is, what is it gonna cost us?
Right.
That's the first question that they usually ask you.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, because we hope it costs you nothing,
Right.
but
The goal.
realistically,
Yeah, the goal
Right.
is to make this cost nothing. But we gotta get a yes vote to
I
move
had written
forward.
down a couple things.
Yep.
And Shelley wanted me to ask, because she was gonna try to log on, but but that's not gonna happen. She wants to make sure that first paragraph, the $30,000, she just wants to make sure that's clear, the difference between education taxes and what stays with the town. Is that 30,000 the total of what one mid-sized large manufacturing facility may generate? And of that 30,000, we all know a very small fraction stays with the town of Highgate. We send the rest off to the school. So I think she just wanted that to be clear and not deceiving in any way.
Well, it does say help offset municipal and education tax burdens.
Yep, I saw that.
Well, I'm proposing we chop those paragraphs out and just leave those headers. So it would just say why invest, higher property tax generated, higher wage jobs for our area, educational opportunities, and take those paragraphs out. What do you think of that? Just 3 bullets. Or do you want that wording in there?
How about a 4th bullet of employment opportunities for our young people?
So,
Or something about keeping families in Franklin County. I don't know, that wasn't really the right wording, but,
You got the right idea though.
right, yeah, so that our children don't have to leave the state in order to survive. Right. Right, because parents want to see their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. It'd be nice not to have to travel across the country to see them.
so maybe we can say something about allowing people to work where they grew
Live,
up,
yeah.
and work something in about 25% of our population drives 60 minutes or more to work.
Yeah, that would be good.
So I'll try to put something together and shoot it to you before, the sooner we can get this out, the better.
Yes.
This is gonna work out. It's gotta make it out before ballots.
I would say a full week at least
Yep.
before we mail ballots. And by law, we have to have, if you make the decision to mail ballots to everyone, we have to have those out no later than 20 days before the vote. So that would get us to like 3rd week of August. I'd have to have those out.
Okay. Kyle? Kyle?
He just said, please have them call me back.
Go.
Hello? Sorry about that.
Okay, I pulled over and stopped.
Okay, good. So do you have any suggestions for the flyer that we would send out? The one that started.
I thought, the only thing I thought of was, why I didn't think of it, was what Shelley did already, having the tax rate per 100,000, what it would actually cost the taxpayer. I suppose that would depend on how much we decide that we're going to ask the town for.
Right.
Or should we
But other than that,
just,
just the information like Tim Smith gave us last week. Anything that we could that we could get from his information would be great.
a link to the website where they can get more information, maybe? The website, the town website listed on there.
How about Wendy suggested a website reference so that people can look for more information.
That's awesome. That's excellent. That's a great idea. You're just not going to get you're not lay labels on people, but the older crowd, you're probably not going to get a lot of them with that, because they don't really play with the internet that much. A lot of the older folks.
Right.
But I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Any other suggestions? We talked about making sure that people understand that we're not asking for $3.5 million.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's huge. That's obviously yes.
Okay, so can we have a motion to, number one, do a mailing?
I'll make that motion to mail to every registered voter in Highgate.
Yeah.
One per household is what we,
Do.
I'll second that motion.
one per household,
One per household,
one card per household.
one card per household.
Okay,
that'll
Wendy's
that'll
just
save money.
clarifying that it's one per household.
Okay. Yeah, that'll save on some stamps.
Yeah, there's no need in
Yeah.
5
Okay.
going to one house.
Right.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So, what is the idea of doing a ballot to each registered voter? Are we agreed to do that? Or do we want an in-person vote?
I would love to see how we get the most people to give their opinion. But obviously we got the problem of, are people educated on what they're voting on?
Yeah, I agree, but I think we're affecting a lot of people,
Yeah,
so they
absolutely.
have a right to have an opinion.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah, I know.
Let me ask this, is it one or the other? Is it in person or mailing, or can we do both?
If you have people ask for an absentee vote.
Right.
So on the postcard, I think it should be clear. Every registered voter will receive a postcard, or will receive a ballot, or here's how you can get your ballot. So that's what you need to decide, and we put it
Right.
on the postcard.
But people that don't want to fill it out at home and send it in can do like they did at the last election and bring it to the poll and vote there.
Yep,
Right.
so they can
So
mail it
we-
back, they
we
can
can
drop
do
it off, they
both.
can use the drop box, they can vote in person. So it's a matter, and Shelley wanted me to say that the postage for ballots, if we send them to everybody, she said that will not come out of my elections budget. She said it has to come from postage budget, which would put a big dent. She just wanted you to know that.
I spoke with Tim Smith last night, and he wanted me to convey that they are willing to upfront some of the money for that mailing. He said he didn't think he could do the full amount of $4,000, but he thought that they might be able to do 2 for us. So that would give us an extra $2,000 to do that.
Yep.
Excellent.
So you can touch base with him
Excellent.
later, but yeah, he,
And together with the mailing and the ballots, you're looking at like 3,000, right? I mean, we thought
Yeah.
1,100 for the mailing and 2,000 is what he said for the ballots.
Yes, so you only want postage on the outgoing envelopes, not return postage on what they use to send back. Cause that would double your postage,
right,
but your call.
So it's $1,100 to mail out, roughly?
We
everybody?
right now have ballpark 22 and change, say 2250 active registered voters. And it's a larger envelope, and in that envelope's gonna be a ballot and 2 more envelopes, the one they sign and the one to return, so they're a little heavier, so it's
Right.
about 75 to 80 cents per envelope. So it would be 1,800 in postage one way, another 1,800 if you put it on it for them to mail them back. So whatever you you think is best?
What do you think, Kyle? Should the return envelopes have postage? It'll cost us 1,800.
I'm thinking no.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm thinking that is I'd hate to spend $1,800 if half of our residents decide they're not going to vote.
Right.
We're wasting all that money. That's just my knee-jerk reaction. Just hearing about it now, that's just what I'm thinking.
Yep. No, I would agree with you.
There's no wrong answer, I just need
Right.
to know what your
Yep.
wishes are.
Vern?
I'm with Kyle on that one.
Okay.
Because there's,
Okay.
how soon are the ballots going out prior to the vote?
They have to go out at least 20 days before the vote by law.
Okay, so that's plenty of time to drop by the town.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are in agreement to not postage the return envelopes.
Correct.
Okay? So ballots will go out to everyone. There'll be return envelopes for you to return it either in person, at the polls, or stick a stamp on it and send it through US mail.
Yep, or the Dropbox.
Or, yes, the drop box in the back of the building. Okay,
The resolution, I have to, there is a beefed up legal resolution in there that Ed has helped us with. But he cautioned not to sign it tonight. You can set your amount, but I was not aware that it needed to be noticed on a separate agenda, separate from the select board meeting.
oh, okay,
So he said on August 19th, when you meet again, we'll have to do a separate agenda for just the bond vote resolution,
okay,
an article, and you can talk about the airport project. Then you adjourn that meeting and go into your regular select board meeting.
okay. But we still want to set the amount.
Ideally, if you set the amount,
Then it
it
can
could
go on
end
your-
up in your mailing.
Right.
But I understand you don't have all hands on deck tonight, so it's your call.
Okay, $680 is our figure. 680,000, sorry.
Ideally, it will be $680.
Yeah,
$680,000 is what that breakout there was planned for, because that's 20% of the project.
right.
We originally knew that federal funding could only cover 20% of it.
Right.
So the debt on 680,000 would be 30,000 for debt, and 30,000 is your ongoing operations and maintenance. So that was the full impact planned.
Okay. Kyle, do you have any thoughts on that?
As far as the amount,
Yes.
well, I've always felt that town should have some skin in the game, but I've always also felt that we shouldn't make the town responsible for all of it. I've got a number in my head. I just don't want to throw it out until I hear some other people's numbers to see if I've lost my mind or not.
What the heck, we're all crazy. Yeah,
The number I was thinking, town not to exceed 250,000. That's the number I was thinking.
wow. Vern?
Now, am I? I heard crickets there, so
No, I said wow.
was that more than you thought I would say?
No, that was less than I thought you would say. I'm not saying I don't like that number. It's better than the 680.
Yeah.
based on the information at hand, which is always changing
Yes.
and moving, goalposts, I'm thinking $500,000 would be a good number to cover our bases in case we don't get what we expect. Worst case scenario, because I do think we're gonna get at least at least 180, I would say, from grants and that kind of stuff, according to what you've told me, and most likely more
Yeah,
if we get a
and-
yes vote.
And just as an update, today I was on a webinar for EDA has $500 million that they're putting out for the recovery, and quite a bit of that is going into infrastructure projects. And seems highly likely that we would be an excellent fit for one of those, so. But
So what do you think about $500,000? 500,000.
I think it's a lot of money.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
250 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we gotta look at what possibly is coming in with a yes vote though, and that's why I'm making that decision. At $500,000, that'll be, I figure, probably worst case if we don't get everything we
And
want.
then obviously if we can get more, then the town wouldn't be on the hook, other than more than 500,000.
Correct.
Exactly. Yeah, it would be we'd have to word it so that it would be that not to exceed 500,000, as opposed to saying we are taking 500,000, because
I'm not opposed to the 500,000. We're sending every voter a ballot. We're giving every voter the option of voting on this, and ultimately, it's their decision. So I'm not opposed to it. I guess I'm just being cheap.
no, said.
Fiscally conservative, that's what we call it.
yes.
check out the resolution down where it's indented, and that's the wording that Ed proposed for you. Shall general obligations.
So, I'll just read this aloud, just so
Please.
people can know what we're looking at. Says, shall general obligation bonds of the town of Highgate, in an amount not to exceed the number we're discussing, subject to reduction from available state and federal construction grant and aid and other financial assistance, be issued for the purpose of making certain public improvements, namely water and sewer infrastructure, to the Franklin County Airport area, located at 629 Airport Road. Such improvements estimated to cost $3,500,000. Go ahead.
I guess if you can get a $3.5 million project done and the town pays 500,000 of it, I guess if you look at it that way, that's a pretty good deal for what quite possibly could do for our kids in the future.
Right. And I consider 400,000. Go ahead, Henry.
I feel better at 400,000 myself, but it's majority rules.
I had kind of two questions. One of them is the ballot gonna say the 680?
No, the ballot will say
Whatever you guys decide.
side, yeah.
Right.
But does that suffice, what we need to suffice for the grants?
I think this is, and you can correct me, please. I think this is where the select board takes their stand, that we're not willing to go above X amount of dollars. So instead of saying we want the town to go up to $680,000. We're saying that we need to come up with either an extra 180,000 or 280,000 or whatever else in additional funds, in order to do this project, is the way I look at it.
So
So yeah, I see it.
the way I was understanding it was to make this grant continue, we had to say, yes, Highgate is willing to go $680,000. And that's where I'm trying to understand.
Right.
If we say yes to that, or let's say it's the 400,000 or whatever, what happens if the bottom falls out and we can't find those other things? Are we still obligated?
No.
No. But it does bring up a good question as to whether or not, if we do less of a bond vote than 680,000, which is our 20%, can you still apply
Yeah. To me, if they got a
for,
threshold,
right,
they're gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
no, you're not, you could say $5.
right,
Why are they gonna say yes to the 400,000
right.
or the $5 compared to the 680?
Yeah, and maybe the 400,000 is the point at which the select board says, okay, we're not gonna go forward, but we have to have the vote for 680.
Well, I did send it to both of the grants, and I'm under the impression that, they were okay with you setting an amount. I can double check. Is your question that you think it's 680 is the 20% is the key to their approval?
I look at it as if I've gotta make a contract with a client,
Right.
saying I need 30% down to build your house, and they come back and say, oh, I'm gonna give you 10, I gotta decide, okay, or buy and I'm gonna continue on. That's my question, I guess. is-
Right.
To me, if they come up with this number, is it a fictional number, is it a number that we have to abide by to continue on?
Right,
There's no sense in
Well-
going through all
well-
this if we're not doing it,
right,
if we're not gonna be,
Well, whatever number you set, you will have to abide by. You can't say 680 and then not be willing to put that in if you don't come up with the other money. Is that what you're saying?
I'm,
well, he just
Both
wants
of
to
those
be,
questions.
yeah, he
Yeah.
wants to be,
Kyle's
Yeah,
saying
it's-
no,
right,
Yeah, whatever you're committing to in that not to exceed amount, that's what the town's on the hook for if you don't find other funding.
so
So,
that, I get
Well,
mixed results out of all of that.
and that's not really true, right, because if we don't find other funding, and we don't get that grant, we can say, that's it.
yeah, because you haven't been authorized to take out anything more than that.
Right.
So you're asking the voters if they would allow you to take out a bond if you need it.
Right,
You're hoping you won't need it because you have the V-Trans money
right,
as your local match. But that means that we have to get that EDA grant,
right,
which there is a very good likelihood that we will. But nothing is a guarantee, so there has to be, there has to be a vote. And what I will say, I think helps with Henry's question, is that rural development did say they typically ask you to bond, to get the voters' approval to bond for the full amount. But because there are more opportunities than there have ever been, and there is a greater likelihood than there has ever been, they were okay with you setting your
A lower amount.
not to exceed
Okay.
amount. So that in itself is quite a vote of confidence, so. But the
So- So, So is what you're all saying, if we don't ask for the full amount, which is the match, I think this is what Henry's saying, we probably won't qualify for any more grants if we don't at least say, yeah, our town will kick in the match. Is that what you're saying?
That's my question.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's asking.
Yeah.
And then, but the additional question to that is, if we say yes to the 680, then are we bound to move forward with that if nothing else comes in?
No.
My understanding was that answer was no, but as you can tell, there's some confusion. My understanding was at any time that we could pull that plug, if there wasn't the funds, that we didn't have to go forward without penalty.
But from what that last meeting I was at, with the understanding that what that makes your town look like moving forward with any other grant procedures, if you had all the monies for the project and you decided you didn't really want to convert in the taxpayers with that amount of debt, you're probably not gonna get luck, your review for the next grant, probably not gonna get much attention.
Don't get me wrong, I'm for the project, I think,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to understand it, and
We all are.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's my biggest worry. If we can't understand it, how are we asking all these voters to understand it?
Yeah, we need to get some more answers, that's for sure.
That's my problem with this.
Well, there's two more informational meetings coming up, which will be the full crew that worked on the study. So September 7th, everyone will be there for that meeting to present and answer all those questions.
Do we know where we're having that yet?
No, not yet. I have not heard back from the church yet. I'm still trying to let you know.
So can that be a question or a clarification?
Oh, that's a great question.
Mhm.
That's kind of the question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, everything makes sense that this is right.
Right.
But if we don't understand how it affects us, sometimes it's too good to be true. I'm not saying this is the situation, but
Well, I would think that if we are certain that they would allow us a lesser amount than the 20%, if we know that for certain, then we could do 5 or 4. But if we're not 100% certain, then that we ask for the 680 so that we make sure that we match our 20% to continue with that grant process, with the understanding that everything and anything we can get, we're gonna go after. And if it turns out to be we need $20, we'll split it between the taxpayers. That way the grant part is covered either way, and we have it in our minds how far we're willing to go with the taxpayers' money. For Kyle it may be $250, for Vern it may be $500, for me it might be $4, it might be $100.
right.
But at least to get the grant process started and going, we've met our criteria of our 20%, so there will be no question of that. And then the rest is hot and peck and look for money.
I can double check with them.
But I can tell you that there is a huge amount of support throughout the state and on the federal level for this. project.
When I passed out the papers, I only had a couple that kind of questioned it.
Yeah.
And I explained to
But
them
I-
that we need jobs here, security.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I can just imagine the amount of tar and feathers it would cover just me if we did this wrong. So I really like the idea of getting some answers.
Do we have enough time to bring this to the next, before you put it on a ballot or no? Or on
I
a
don't think we do we?
mailing? No.
Can we get like some kind of motion made and then pending the information we find out the next day or two? As far as what that number is?
Yes, but you would have to have a vote at that time, so we would either have to meet in person or Zoom it and warn it. So we can do that, it just, we need to do it legally, cause it all needs to be able to
He's saying make a
open meeting.
motion pending her,
What's
the
he-
outcome of Heidi's conversation with, I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah. But if you have any discussion or anything, you wouldn't be able to unless you had a public meeting.
Yep.
Can I give a suggestion? This is just a suggestion. With the Franklin County Field Day is coming up next week, is there any way that you can do some flyers and bring them up there for Highgate residents, for them to grab them? I mean, this is just a suggestion, but, I think you're gonna see a big turnout next weekend over there, and
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good
You
chance.
should have somebody handing them on the way out, cause they're not gonna want them
I'm
on the
gonna
way
be,
in.
I'm
to
gonna
carry
be
them around all
volunteering,
night.
I'm volunteering 3 days up there, and I know pretty much the Highgate residents. And I don't mind doing it as long, I don't interfere with Franklin County, I wanna make sure I'm not stepping on their foot. I don't have a problem with that, I know a lot of Highgate residents, but it needs to be out, it needs to, the flyers needs to be given out to the Highgate residents.
I don't know, Vern, what do you think?
Like you said, walking out the gate, not in the gate with them. They could be blown all over otherwise.
It's, I know it's a tension.
Yeah, I guess I don't know about the field days over there, that's state property. I mean, I guess, yeah, you could stand outside the gate and hand them out if you want. I don't have a problem with it, just,
I was thinking about the motion.
oh. Wait,
But that's all right.
okay, we're all on the same page now.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Yes. Yes.
Or you could put a
Do you
thing
want
saying
to-
Highgate residents only, and it's just a suggestion, I'm just, 'cause you're trying to get the
Yep.
information out.
Okay, so you're confusing my select board.
Okay, I know, I do that all the time.
So what's the motion on the floor?
Well, we're asking whether you wanna do a motion.
I'm asking if it's legal to do it that way. That's really the question.
I guess if we worded it correctly, you could do it. What would yours sound like?
Well, now the problem is without knowing the question about the dollar amount.
We'll have more discussion.
Now we don't know. I mean, if we have to say this the full 680,000, right?
So if you made a motion to approve a resolution that shall be based either on $680,000 if it's required to match our 20%, or the option of X amount of dollars in the event that we do not need to have the full 20%.
Correct.
Would you consider that a legal motion? Yeah, I know, it's a little hairy there.
Can you guys get together again in time?
Kyle, what's your schedule for the next few days?
come home Saturday afternoon. I leave Monday and come home Thursday night.
Can you find out tomorrow?
I can try. I don't know if I can find out tomorrow. I can attempt to.
How about Bill?
I'll make myself available, you know, either Saturday afternoon or
Yeah.
Sunday morning or,
I could zoom in if I.
I mean, I would definitely be available Sunday morning. I'm not sure what time I'm getting home Saturday, but I'm
Oh,
hoping
okay.
it's gonna be late afternoon.
okay,
That's if she even gets the answers.
right.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is she can get the answers right, exactly.
Okay, so if she gets an answer,
If she gets an answer that they don't require the full 683 to be listed there, should you set an exceed amount? Or do you need to meet again? That's the question.
let's do this. Let's warn a public meeting for the select board Sunday here, 9 o'clock.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. If we need to cancel, we'll contact Wendy to cancel it.
Okay. And next week I can always either call in like this or Zoom in, because I'll be in Syracuse, New York,
Okay.
and I can participate that way, if that works.
Well, then do you want to, what's your evenings like next week?
I'm good.
So do we want to give Heidi a couple days here to get this figured out?
I think we should, yeah, especially with everybody not feeling good. I think that would be wiser, yeah.
You want to do Wednesday, is that, you think give you enough time plus to do the mailer? How close is our mailing here? What kind of timeline?
She's got the draft, she's got all the addresses already. She will need a day or two once we give her the final info, and then she won't mail anything until we send her a check for the postage. So,
Let's put that into time. Or your mailing goes out without that number on it.
I think it'd be wrong to send it
Yeah,
without
we-
that number.
Yeah, we gotta put a number.
Monday?
Okay.
Monday night?
It could be.
Tuesday night is village tour.
Yeah, because Wednesday is the library meeting.
Next Thursday was our original meeting.
Right.
Right, that we couldn't do.
So let's try for Monday night. How's Monday night grab you?
He's gone.
That's fine with me.
Call.
No
Okay,
problem.
we'll call you.
Okay, sounds good.
6 o'clock?
What time?
6?
6? 6:30?
Gonna be a short one?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time?
We could do that by Zoom too, because it
Yeah.
could be short and sweet. You don't necessarily have to huddle.
I can't zoom while I'm driving, that's the problem.
Oh,
Oh.
you're driving too?
Yeah.
So how would you do it, by phone?
No, I'll just show up here. But 6 is pushing it for me to get here by 6. 6 will work. We're good.
Oh, okay.
We'll forgive you if you're 5 minutes late.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll try for Monday. We'll have Wendy warn a meeting. 6 o'clock Monday.
Okay,
So no Sunday, only Monday. And we'll
Okay.
hope we have the correct answers.
that sounds good.
Then we can do the flyer right off.
Cool.
Okay. Any concerns about the resolution, besides the fact that we need the number? Anything else?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Vern?
I'm good.
Okay, so we're all good with that. So that can go forward once we have our numbers. All right. So we'll make a decision on Monday for the mailers and for the resolution final numbers. Then we'll have, airport information at all of the next meeting, every meeting for every committee. So, village core, library, rec department.
Well, rec's on Monday.
Okay.
So we could do the 16th if they'll let us do that. Library trustees is on the 4th.
Okay. Planning will be a big one.
Planning,
Yeah.
yes.
Tim Smith is gonna come back for the planning. So any town fathers, any town leaders, any business people, grab them and bring them. Henry, that includes you.
So what day is that?
Yeah. August 17th. Tim Smith will be here. Select board members will be here. So if you can warn that as well, Wendy.
Can you reach out to
Absolutely.
25 business people, and I'm not even saying
Yep.
all of them from Highgate, but
Yep.
I think it'd be a good idea to,
Yep. And Richard Copperthwaite wanted to know if we wanted to do another set of interviews a little closer to the vote. He said he's willing to do that for us, no problem. Just to let him know.
Great. So Sharon and Tim did the latest video last night, and that'll be available on our website very soon, talking about the project.
Okay. And then we have our information meeting on September 7th, which is quickly coming. And then the vote on the 14th. So if
Yep.
anybody has any questions, anybody has any input, please show up at a meeting. We're happy to talk about it.
and where is the meeting on the 17th?
Here. If we need to, we'll pull some fire trucks out and set up chairs. Okay.
Sharon, I got a question, and it's probably not going to get an answer tonight, but for one of the future meetings. The last meeting I was asking about what's the, assessed value for, compared to a warehouse or a manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking more on that, is there does your assessed value change if you have, public water and sewer? For, my thoughts were for current buildings that are down there. And if so, if there's a number, you can give a couple examples of, that's easy return on it already because the buildings are there, and if they
Right.
jump on, I don't know, it just,
I think the problem being that the state owns most of those larger buildings, and they don't pay the full tax rate like a resident would. They have a secret formula that they use and divide what they have left in their budget.
yeah.
Same.
So you don't get the assessed value of property taxes out of the state.
Is there a ratio of what it is compared, is it 75%, is it, do we know that?
No, it's my understanding from Shelley, and I'm speaking out my whatever. But I believe that it's on a yearly basis, that tax rate.
Payment in lieu of taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a guaranteed. And like I said, I'd have to double check with Shelley, but that was my understanding.
But the buildings that he's talking about would be state-owned, correct?
Well, if you're talking about the buildings that are currently there,
Yes.
most of those are owned by the state.
My thought was like the Lapierre building and the old border patrol building.
Those
Some of them private
Those are
hangars.
all state.
Really? I didn't know that.
The hangars, some of those are individually owned, but the Lapierre's, where the old Habitat for Humanity, those are all state owned and leased.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So the future buildings that we were kind of talking about, that wouldn't be state-owned, would it?
No. They would like to put in some more hangars and things. And they have a large chunk of land where they could do state development. But the town would not benefit as much as having a private entity own, because they would get the full commercial rate.
It's kind of interesting on the news just yesterday, whenever Burlington, the taxes are going higher on the residents and lowering on the commercial.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting.
They waited 15 years to do a reassessment.
And I'll bet we'll be 15 years before we do a reassessment, but,
Probably
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
yeah, because that's the way it happened. But it's kind of interesting how the commercial, and I don't know if this past year has made that skewed, but
I think too, they're pretty much at their capacity for commercial development. So you can't offer expansion possibilities, you can't offer, your services are becoming more and more limited. So that might be part of it as well. Or it's to keep them from leaving. There are places that are more attractive. And I know that Tim Smith said last night that he was approached this week by a large developer in Chittenden County looking for space in Franklin County, because there just wasn't any in the Chittenden County area. So, okay, and we do have links to all of this information. The town website has lots of information. Heidi has tons and tons of information, probably more information than she ever really wanted. So, can reach out to her. The select board, even the people the COIs that run the airport. All of these people are interested. The Franklin County Economic Development with Tim Smith. All of these people have information that's available to you to reach out and ask questions that maybe we can't answer or don't answer enough of your questions, but we'll try to bring as many people in here so that you have the opportunity to ask those questions, and so that we all know exactly what we're talking about. Anything else for the airport? Any last thoughts on the airport, Kyle?
Not right now, Sharon, thank you.
Yeah, Vern?
No, we still got more questions we need answered.
Okay.
That was a good
Henry?
question.
I'm sorry I showed up.
No, no.
No,
I guarantee you're
no.
not the only one asking the question, so.
We're glad, I'm glad you showed up, Henry.
I think the more we understand, the easier it's gonna be.
Yep,
I'm just trying to understand.
yep, absolutely. Okay. So we'll go right on to town treasurer. So has everyone had a chance to look at the check warrant?
Yep.
Yes.
Does anybody have the check warrant?
Yes.
Oh, good. Gonna say. Can I have a motion to sign the check warrant?
So moved.
Kyle, you want to?
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And Wendy, while we're signing,
Okay.
what's the news from the town clerk's office?
I will be brief. You have very lengthy minutes from the 15th.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from July 15th?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, and I just have a couple, the select board vacancy, you mentioned it earlier. Bruce has left the state. So we're looking to fill the vacancy, which would be until town meeting, at which time it would need to be on the ballot. So we did post this, can you see this, Jerry? We're looking for letters of interest by August 19th, which is our next meeting. I know last time we had a vacancy, people came from everywhere, so I'm hoping
Yeah.
that some of those same people might still be interested. So, contact us if you are interested in filling that spot on the board. Highgate High School Alumni Association wanted me to mention, gotta pull up the post so that I don't get the information wrong. They are doing a plaque dedication to commemorate the former home of the Highgate Junior Senior High School, which is now the Highgate Elementary White Building. The dedication will take place on August 14th, which is a Saturday at 10:30 a.m. at the White Building. It'll be open for visiting, time to reflect on the past, to meet up with your former classmates, and there will be light refreshments for anybody that's interested. That's August 14th at 10:30 at the Highgate Elementary School White Building. I also was sent a flyer to bring up September 19th at 3 p.m. on the State House lawn. They are having a service to remember all those Vermonters that were lost during the pandemic. And they're gonna have a ceremonial reading of all the names of those that passed. And we did have some Highgate residents in there too, so. That's September 19th at 3 p.m. on the State House lawn in Montpelier. And I think that's it.
Okay. Heidi.
Start right off with the Better Roads grant. Last time I mentioned you still had 2 grant agreements that we hadn't seen yet, so you have one of those, and that's for the stormwater road inventory. So please sign that, and please extend that authorization you gave at the last meeting for Sharon to sign the next grant when it comes in, because we won't meet again until the 19th, and that's a long time, so. I'll forward it so everyone can view it, but please authorize me to bring the Rollo Road grant to Sharon for signature when it arrives.
Okay, so we've actually already approved this particular one, right?
You did approve it, that's right, yes.
So,
I approved them all.
I thought so too.
I had to watch that meeting twice, so I remember this thing.
I'm sorry.
And so you are in the loop, the request to the Clean Water State Revolving Fund for design funding for the village core wastewater system was approved for 100% forgiveness
Oh, good.
at the amount of 75,575. The remaining 42,000 for land and legal was not approved yet because we have to submit more information for that. And I'm not sure exactly how we would go forward because we're supposed to get an appraisal on the property before they would authorize the amount. So I'll get some more information from our engineer on exactly how that timing could work. We might have to pay for an appraisal to get the approval for that funding.
Is there a possibility we could use those ARPA funds for an appraisal?
I think that whole project is a perfect fit for the ARPA funds infrastructure. So I would say off the top of my head, yes. And are you meaning just for the appraisal to move that forward?
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
You know, if you could use, you know, we know that we have $98,000 of that, 191,000 going to the recreation department for their losses during COVID. So we're still ahead of the game right now. If we could use 10,000 to do the appraisal on that, to move that forward. And then I know we are looking to see if we can use some of that ARPA funding toward the airport project. The wording in the the wording and the requirements for the use of that money is a little tricky. It says you can use it for infrastructure, you can use it for drinking water, you can use it for wastewater, stormwater, but you're not supposed to use it to finance that, which is basically what we are doing, is financing the project. So there is a case to be made both ways, so we are in the process of trying to see if we could use that money toward the 680,000 20% match.
Lisa Hango has offered to try and help with that because it's a matter of the location. They don't like the fact that it's an extension out of the village. It's considered sprawl. So that's a problem. So there is a possibility we'd be able to overcome that. Don't know yet. I did bring the vending ordinance to the last planning commission meeting. They looked at it, but I apologize, I did not have time to put their edits in that and bring it back to you. So, lost a few days this week, so I'm a bit behind, but I definitely can have that next time.
Okay. All right.
And that's it for me.
Okay. So the draft warrant and resolution, we're at that sticking point of a figure number, or a number for that fill-in. Vending ordinance will wait until next time. I do want to say welcome back, Jerry. We're very happy to see you back and in good health. thankfully COVID has allowed us to have you back. So thank you for looking out for us. We're always happy to see you. Do we have any other select board business? Do you
I'm
have
all set.
anything, Kyle? No? Okay. Vern?
I'm all set, no?
Nope, all set.
Okay. Any,
Just remind them about the summer concert again this Sunday. The summer concert that's still going on this Sunday, August 1st, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Just a reminder.
how's the turnout been?
Last week was kind of small, but the first week was really good.
Good.
So,
So free entertainment at the arena.
at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Heidi?
I just need to bring a couple things to your attention in executive session.
Okay. So, thank you very much for joining us. I make a motion to exit the regularly scheduled select board meeting and enter into executive with Heidi Bridgeville.